welcome to episode 28 of my Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. A tiny bit of sewing just lately as well. I will leave all the information about where you can find me in the description box below, and anything that I talk about in the podcast will be linked below as well. So, how are we all? I hope you've had a lovely crafty 2 weeks. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and thank you very much for those of you that are returning. So today is Wednesday the 9th of February. I'm recording this a day early. You will see this go up onto YouTube tomorrow. It just gives me a little bit more time on the editing and uploading. If I do it a day early, it just gives me a little bit longer to get on with it. So yeah, that is all that bit out of the way. I hope you're all okay and I hope you've had a lovely crafty 2 weeks. I have got a lot of finished objects today. There is a reason for that. I will talk about that in live update at the end of the video. The shop update will also be at the end of the video as well. But before we get into any of the knitting, I just want to have a little bit of a chat about the shawl along that's going on. I'll put the hashtag on the screen. The shawl along is NYC Shawl Along 2022, and that is running until the 1st of March. Anyone can enter. It's open worldwide. I need to stop saying There are no rules whatsoever for the shawl along. You can knit, you can crochet, you can sew, you can enter whips. If you've only got a border to add to a shawl, you can put that in. If you've only got the cast off part to do, you can put that in. If you haven't started it yet and you're just thinking about it, put your picture in. You can put in whatever you want. There's no rules whatsoever. It is just all about the interaction. And there's been some lovely shawls gone up already. It's been so nice looking at them all, and I've had some really good ideas as well for patterns that I want to do. But yeah, just add your entries in. At the moment, there's still fewer than 100 posts on Instagram. So if you get your entries in, there are 3 prizes for this shawl along. So you do have a really high chance of winning. We'll be doing 2 random number generator prizes, and there will be a my favourite prize as well. So it ends on the 1st of March, and we'll do an Instagram live to pick the winners. It'll either be on the 2nd or the 3rd of March. It won't be on the 1st because I've got an appointment for Josh that day straight after school, which will take a while. So we will, yeah, either the 2nd or the 3rd of March, we'll do an Instagram live and pick winners. So make sure you get your entries in, guys. There's not long left now, and you've still got plenty of time to cast on something new and just add it to the shawl along. So that is that. Shall we talk about what I'm wearing? I did put it on Instagram yesterday, so for those of you that follow me on Instagram, you will have already seen this. Was it yesterday or the day before? And while I'm talking as well, if you hear any background noise, Danny's dying in the kitchen. There's nothing I can do. I've got to get this podcast filmed today. It's also, we've got a lot of dyeing this week as well because it's a shop update on Friday, so that I can't avoid the noise. I'm really sorry if that gets annoying, but there's not a lot I can do about it. So yeah, this is the Rocket Tee by, is it Tanis Fibre Arts? If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. Now, I talked about this on the last episode, and I was only sort of about here, I think. And I was absolutely convinced that this shawl was not going to fit. T-shirt was not going to fit. And everybody was saying, get it onto a cable, get it onto a cable. Well, I didn't think I had a cable long enough to do that, and I did not want to pull all the stitches off to put it on a long piece of yarn and do it that way. There was no way I was doing that. But then it dawned on me, in the needle set that I have, you do have little connectors. So I connected the cables together and made a really long cable and did manage to try it on, and was so thankful that it fit. Excuse me, Stewie is sitting on the knitting I've got at the side. This is Stewie. Can you say hello? He's so sassy. Say hello, Stewie. So I'll show you it. So yeah, I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see it properly, because I'm not going to be able to get it in the camera, but you see, I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm so pleased with it. It did block slightly larger than it was when it was knitted, But yeah, I'm so pleased with it. Honestly, I was convinced it wasn't going to fit. So the yarn is by Attic Spin Dye. That's this. The pink is Spirit, and I can't remember the name of the second one, but it's on. Is it on the last video that I talked about it? And it's a 4-ply yarn. I used both skeins of the yarn, and I had 8 grams left of each skein, so I did so well to get the t-shirt out of that. The only changes I made to the pattern was I've put ribbon at the bottom for the waistband at the bottom, and on here you see this beautiful detail here. So these are yarn overs next to a stitch marker. That's one thing that I really struggled with on this pattern. The yarn overs kept hopping over the stitch marker, which would then throw my stitch count completely out. So after 3 times of pulling this back, and it happened again about here, you can see that I've just put a stitch in between. So that stopped that issue completely. And you really can't tell once it's on that I've had to do that. So that was the only modification apart from the 1x1 ribbon. Honestly, I can see why Mandy from the Mouses Makes podcast has made this t-shirt more than once. It's so comfortable and so light. I did struggle with the pattern because I haven't made many garments, and this pattern I think expects you just to know a little bit. I'm fine with knitting a garment if the designer is holding my hand all the way through and explaining everything to me, then I tend to be fine. But like I said, this pattern did expect me to know a little bit, which I didn't know. Luckily, I had my friend Nicola to help me through it, and she really taught me through each of it step by step, which was really handy. So that worked out fine. The issue with the fit that I had, I didn't realise that I was supposed to add in the positive ease into my measurements. So I was knitting for a 43-inch bust, and I should have added the positive ease that the pattern stated into the measurements, which I hadn't done. As it turns out, I've lost a little bit of weight since then. I've lost nearly a stone since I cast this on. So that's obviously helped with the sizing issue that I had, and it did block quite a bit as well. So I'm really pleased with it. I absolutely love it. I've worn it all week. It needs to go in the wash now. So really pleased with this. I'll definitely be making another one. So that is finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 is a pair of socks. I'll have to put these ones on the screen. These are Ruby's socks, and she's already got them. She was here this past weekend, so she's already got them. She's been waiting for these socks for quite a while. So that is the second finished object. They fit her beautifully. I did cast on 64 stitches for Ruby. Her feet are only marginally smaller than mine. So I cast on 64 stitches. There are 12 rounds of 1x1 ribbon. I've done 4 inches for the leg and shadow wrap heel, which, as you all know, is my favourite heel at the moment. And the foot measures with the heel and the toe just 5 inches. When I do socks for me, I do just over 5 inches, but for Ruby, I just hit the 5 inches and they fit absolutely perfectly. So that is those. I do also have another pair of socks. These are for Denise's Make Along. Denise has the Dear Designs podcast, and her hashtag for the Make Along, I'll pop it on the screen, is hashtag Year of the Sock 2022. So she's given prompts for every single month of the year. February was Tickle Pink, so I have done these 2. Again, I don't know what this yarn is. It's Deep Stash. It's a yarn that Danny bought for me last year. I don't even know where it came from. It was already balled up. It didn't have its label, so I have no idea what it is, and I do apologise for that. I don't do that very often, but it is just a Deep Stash. The pink one is by me. This is one of our hot pink minis. So I've just done heels and toes in the hot pink. And again, I always do 12 rounds of 1x1 ribbon. For the shorty socks, I do 20 rounds for the leg, and then I do just over 5 inches. Well, it's 57 rows for the foot, and then with the heel and toe, it makes it perfectly my size. These are again on 2.5 needles, which I'm finding at the moment fit me brilliantly. So that's those. I am flying through this. This podcast could be slightly shorter because, let me just move you down a little bit because I've moved myself. There we go. Because I only have one work in progress. Never mind. And the last item that I finished are the Show Us Your Scraps mitts by Laura Bales. These are from my friend Shelley. And aren't they just gorgeous? I had to laugh with these because as I made the first one, I've got a pair of these that I've worn since I made them. I made them in vlog when I was doing Vlogtober. And I've worn them and worn them and worn them. And they're really taggy now. But when I obviously need a new pair, as much as I'm tempted to keep these are not mine. When I made these, I thought they look smaller than mine. I measured them up against mine. And there's a good inch difference in the length here. So I thought, right, okay, I've clearly gone wrong on this pattern. So when I made the second one, I was expecting to have to correct it somewhere, but it wasn't. It was completely right. So obviously on mine, I've gone wrong. And I don't know how on mine I've gone wrong on both mitts. Clearly there must be about 10 rows short. I've gone wrong on both mitts, but they still worked out the same size. I don't know. I'll pop one on so you can see. Sorry, Shelley, if you're watching, I'm wearing your mitts. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love this pattern. It's so easy to follow. It's really intuitive. If you can hear that noise, that's the cat at the window. I'll have to let him in a second. Let me just let him in. So the colourway is one of our colourways. Danny dyed this one. This is Lagoon. And the black is by Attic Spin Dye in the colourway Black Death. And I just thought they looked so lovely together. So that is those. I'll link the pattern in the description box below. It's a really simple pattern. I make the size large, which is 54 stitches. And that fits me perfectly. I do it on a 2.75mm needle, which I don't think is a needle that the pattern calls for. I think it might be a smaller one, but that's the needle that I use. But yeah, that is those. So that is it for my finished object. I'm sorry if I've flown through them, but yeah. So we'll move on to works in progress. I only have one because all my active whips this past 2 weeks I've finished. Like I say, I'll talk about that in the life update. There is a reason why, so I'll talk about that in the life update. So I'm down to one active whip, which is my Stephen West Starflake shawl. It's living in my big bag. Now, last time I was still making the parallelograms. But finished all of those now. I only picked this up again yesterday because I've been finishing all the other things off. But this is it. Now the yarn I had gifted to me last year by our local craft shop. So I have a cone of this blue one. I don't know what it is, but it's 100% acrylic. And I have a cone of this white one. It doesn't say Bramwell 4-ply, 100% acrylic. And it's lovely. So that's those. So yeah, I'm just moving on to the next section. So I'll show you a picture of this pattern. You've all seen this last week anyway, but that is the picture of the shawl. I was saying last week that I don't think I'm going to be doing the brioche, and a lot of you said just give it a go and see what you think. I'm still undecided. There is an option. It does have brioche in the shawl, but there is an option to do garter stitch instead if you don't want to try brioche. But I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So yeah, just moving on nicely now. There's not a great deal to say about it at the moment because there's not a lot to show you yet. I'm only just past section 1. Is it section 1 and 2 I've done? Let me have a look. I've just moved on to section 2. So yeah, there's not a great deal to see yet, but I'm hoping I can get plenty on this done. This is my only whip at the moment. I'll probably cast on another pair of socks later on today or tomorrow. but at the moment this is my only whip. So I'm just going to be spending a lot of time working on this. So last night I was kind of like, well, haven't I been good? I've done all the projects that I wanted to get done. Let's cast on some more projects. And usually, you all know, I love a good cast on party. But honestly, I had no idea what I wanted to make. I was just like, well, I've got the pattern for the V-back tee, which I've been dying to make for so long. But because I've just finished this one, I don't want to cast on another tee. So I thought, right, well, I'll cast on a shawl. I've got the brioche shawl that I've got the yarn for, that I'm wanting to cast on, but I thought I don't want to have 2 shawls on the go. I'm all socked out at the minute. I seem to have I think I've done 4 pairs of socks this year already. 1 for Danny, 1 for Ruby and 2 for me. 4 pairs of socks already this year. So I'm kind of socked out. So I thought I could work on my jumper that I showed you last time, but I haven't worked on that over the past 2 weeks. And I thought I don't want to work on that either. So I was looking through all my patterns on my phone and I found this one that I downloaded. Oh, it must have been early last year. Now this pattern is a Cygnet pattern. I don't know where I got it, but Luigi, are you fighting? Lugs. He's cross about something. This is it. I will try and leave a link to it in the description box below. I think this was a free pattern. I'm sure it was. And it is just a slouchy beanie. A slouchy sweater, which I really, really like the look of. So I think I'm going to cast this on. I need to order the yarn for it. And I want to do it in the yarn stated in the pattern. Which is Boho Spirit in the colourway Chic. So I want to cast this on next. I've had a look on Wool Warehouse this morning and they do have the yarn in stock. Good old Wool Warehouse always comes to the rescue. So I think I'm going to cast that on next week probably. I want to get a bit of work done on this Stephen West first and get that to a good point. But yeah, so that is my next cast on. And probably by the next podcast there'll be a few more cast-ons as well added into the mix, I'm sure. I've got a few socks that I downloaded that were free Ravelry downloads. Now he wants to go out. This is my cats all day long. They are in and out, in and out. I feel like a doorman. I've just let him in. Luigi! Luigi! I'm going to have to go let him out. 1 second. He's out now. So I'm going to have a look through my patterns. Like I say, there's a few sock patterns that I've downloaded. And there's the dog. Have you seen all of the animals now today? I'm really sorry. And just see what I can find. I've got the Heartbreak Shawl as well, which I've shown on the podcast before, which I'm itching to cast on. There's a few patterns that I'm itching to cast on. So we'll see what happens over the next 2 weeks. But at the moment, I'm just going to work on the Stephen West. So, wow, that is really quick for me. That's 19 minutes. That is it for the knitting content. I'm going to move into life update now and talk about the shop update, which is on Friday. The shop update will be Friday at 7 o'clock. So if you're only here for the knitting content, then that's absolutely fine. And I will see you next time. If you want to stick around for a bit of life update and shop update, then we'll get into that now. So I did talk a little bit about the amount of finished objects I've had, which is really, really unlike me. I do not normally have that many finished objects. But I've needed my knitting this past 2 weeks. I really have and I've totally zoned out and just knit and tried to forget what was going on. So you all know I've had some health issues over the past sort of year and a half. It started sort of September 2020 when my alopecia started. And I was having a lot of issues with my bowels, some really severe constipation, which was really quite bad. And I've been backwards and forwards to the doctors and they've tested for Crohn's and they've tested for bowel cancer and they've tested for allergies and I had to do like a milk-free trial and one thing and another. And they just kept giving me more medication to help the situation. Too much information there. And this has been going on over the past year. And it's really been getting me down because it's just been horrific. So it got to January this year, they ended up doing some more blood tests, and it's come out that I have type 2 diabetes, which they say is not linked to the issues that I've been having, but I don't know, we'll see. So, and a folate deficiency. So that came as such a huge, huge shock. I did not expect that at all, and I was really, really shocked. So I've had to totally overhaul my diet completely. I don't see the diabetes nurse until the 14th of February, which is next Monday. So I'm just kind of winging it on my own at the moment. But it did come as a huge, huge shock. So I just kind of zoned out, and just all I wanted to do was knit. That's all I wanted to do. So I just sat with my podcasts and my knitting and thought, right, well, it's happened now, so I've got to learn to deal with it. It's not pre-diabetes. It is actually type 2 diabetes. So I've changed my diet, which was, if I'm honest, pretty poor. I was terrible for crisps and pastries and all the things that you shouldn't eat, so it's my own fault, which made me really angry as well, because I think it's your own fault for eating rubbish. But these things happen. So yeah, totally had to change everything. Change my whole diet completely. I'd started exercising anyway, so that wasn't such a hardship. So yeah, I have just knit and knit and knit and just tried to put everything out of my head. Immediately I will go into panic mode and start worrying and thinking the worst, and oh my god, it's really easy for me to do that. I have anxiety anyway, so that would be my next natural step, was like, oh my god, panic. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that this time because it's already happened. I just need to get on with it and learn to deal with it. So I've spent so much time on the diabetes website looking at things that I should be eating and things that I shouldn't be eating, which we all should know this anyway, but it's all too easy to get a sneaky McDonald's or a sneaky Greggs, or, you know. So that has been that. It's like I say, it's been a huge shock, but knitting helped. Knitting helped so much. It really stopped me panicking. So I'm just flinging my necklace around there. Look, Danny's just over there, look.
Hi all. Don't see me, but hi all.
Can you hear him?
Huh?
Nothing? 1 second. I've just actually been to see the yarn that has been dyeing. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm really, really pleased with that. You'll all see that. Hopefully there'll be some pictures go on Instagram over the next few days. So yeah, that has been my health update over the past 2 weeks. I did get some new glasses as well. In the midst of all this, I had an optician's appointment, which you probably don't want to know, but I did get some new glasses as well, which are much, much better than my old glasses. You all know I'm supposed to wear glasses for distance, and my other glasses were just so uncomfortable. My prescription this time had changed as well, so I do need close-up glasses and distance glasses, so I got some new ones that actually fit a little bit better and they're not uncomfortable, so I can actually wear them. So that has been that. What a drama it's been. These things happen. They happen to us all. We have to just learn to get on with it and learn to deal with it. And I'm sure in a month, 2 months' time, all this will become second nature to me. At the moment, it's all so new and so scary that I'm just kind of like, oh my God. Just, oh my God. But it is what it is. I can't change it now. What's done is done. I just have to learn to get on with it. So we shall move on to the shop update. Right, so the shop update is going to be at 7 o'clock on Friday. If I just open this box, I will show you a few of the things that we've got going in. I can't show you what Danny's just dyed because it's still wet and you won't see the true colour yet. So, one more thing as well, all of the Mystery Sock Club Month 2s are being shipped tomorrow. I was hoping they'd be out this morning, but they weren't quite dry, so they will all be shipped out tomorrow as well. So, I've been making some bags. Do you want to see what I've been making? So, there's only 5. This is the first one. They're all sock size bags with a zip and a lining. So that's the first one. These are going to be Alex's dodgy bags because they're not perfect. I'm still learning, so they're not 100% perfect. The worst bit might be the lining, the stitching at the bottom. I think there's an easier way to do that stitching at the bottom than how I do it. But other than that, they are all box bottoms. So that's the first one. These will be £11.50. So that's the first one. I have two of these ones. This is the second one. I really love this one. And this one has a blue lining, which is this one. That has a blue lining. And this one has a pink lining. So there are two of those. And there are two of these. These are also they're all my favourite. Everything's always my favourite, have you noticed? These little badges on that. Look at that. I absolutely love this one. And these have a red lining that matches the bottom. Like I say, they're classed as Alex's dodgy bags because they're still not perfect. You all know I'm just learning still. But they're all box bottoms, which when you open it out, will stand up like that. Now I believe these are, is it 10 by 11 inches or something like that, or 10 by 10 inches or something, but they easily fit a skein of yarn in, so they're perfect for socks. And there are two of those. So that is those. Yarn wise, what do we have? Danny has made this one. This is our licorice all sort colourway. I love this one. Isn't it gorgeous? There's that one. And try and get the 100-gram skeins out first. There's this one as well. I love this one. This is browns and there's smidges of blue, if I can find any to show you. You see there's smidges of blue in it and purples and pinks. It's absolutely gorgeous. So there's that one. There are a few 100-gram skeins going in. There are also some drying at the moment, so I can't show you them all just yet. I did this one. This one's Fun House. I love this one. There's that one. And then what we've done this time a little bit different is we have done some 50 grams. Sorry, I wasn't even looking at the camera when I said that. We've done some 50-gram skeins as well. The 50 grams are these. Now this is a 2-set pack, so you'll get two 50-gram skeins in that. So there's that one. And then we've done some 50-gram sock sets. When I make socks, I never use more than 50 grams, as long as I've got a contrasting mini. So we also have this one. I'm skirting past the names at the moment because they've not all got names. So there's that one. And this one. And there was another one. Yeah, it's this one. Which I think, I don't know whether that one wants that one or that one. Quite like that actually. I don't know. We did 2 minutes for this because we couldn't decide on which colour to put with it. So, yep, so there are 50-gram skeins with a 20-gram mini. And there are still some left in the shop. This one is still left in the shop. I can't believe this has not sold yet. This is called Ice Cave, and I absolutely love this one. There are two of these. I'm so shocked it hasn't sold yet. That's in the shop still. There is one Blue Moon left in the shop. This is Blue Moon. There is one of those left in the shop. And we also have going into the shop a brighter Tutti Frutti. We did Tutti Frutti on the last update. And we've done it again, but it's just a little bit more saturated than the first one. The first one was a lot paler, and this is the second one. That's the second Tutti Frutti. That's to go in. And what else have we got left in the shop? Sweet Velvet is also still in the shop. which is gorgeous. That is browns and maroons. You see that? It's gorgeous. So yes, and that is it for the shop update as well. I'm sorry I have flown through this episode. Let me just put this yarn back. It's because there's not been a lot of works in progress, so I couldn't bang on about how I was doing something wrong for half an hour. Put them in there, then back in there. Sugar me, that in there. Yeah, but hopefully, well, I just think this weekend I'm going to have a cast-on party. I really do. I think this weekend I am just, if I've got a needle spare, I'm going to cast something on. I'm just going to cast on all of the things. I never get to this point where I have got no works in progress. I do still have the Snoopy blanket to finish, but I'm just not feeling it at the moment because I've just finished the Advent C2C. I don't want to do C2C at the moment. And I do have my sweater to finish, but I don't fancy that at the moment. So I have one active whip, which is not like me. You all know, if you've all been here for the past year, you know that I have more than one whip on the go. And usually it's about 6 or 7. So I need to have a little bit of a cast-on party this weekend. I've got so many patterns that I want to make. I think I'm just going to go for it. I've got the Versities Unite as well by Stephen West. Now, when I bought the pattern, I was struggling making the colours match together. But I've got more yarn since then. I could easily cast that on. But then I've got a shawl on the go. Oh, I'm going to look forward this weekend to just casting on all of the things, and that is what I'm going to do. So I'm sorry the episode has been a little bit shorter than normal. Normal service will be resumed. Oh, actually, I do need to talk about the tutorial. The tutorial has not been finished yet. The plan was last week to film I filmed the first part of the tutorial for the C2C blanket, and the plan was last week to film the rest of it because obviously I knew this week we were busy with dyeing for the shop update. And with everything that just went on last week, and I just wanted to shut myself away, which I know is very dramatic, but I think for those of you that have anxiety, you understand. You immediately just think the worst, and I just didn't do anything. So the tutorial will come up in the next 2 weeks. I'm sorry it's been a little bit longer than I said it would, but I can't do it this week. So it's going to be next week before I finish it now, and I hope that's okay, and I hope that you all understand, but it is coming. So yes, normal service will be resumed next fortnight, I'm sure. Danny's wanting to do vlogs for March, so we shall see. He really wants to do March vlogs, so we shall probably be back vlogging in March vlogs anyway, but there is another podcast in between that, so I'll let you know if that's going to happen. And yeah, I hope that you're all okay, and I hope that you're all having a lovely 2 weeks. And I shall see you all again in 2 weeks. And have I got a podcast before the end of the shawl along? Yes, I have. I think I've got a podcast towards the end of February. So before the end of the shawl along, I'll be podcasting again anyway. So yeah, I'll stop rambling. I'll let you all get on with your day. Have a lovely 2 weeks, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you in a fortnight. Bye-bye.